Greetings and salutations, guys and girls. It's the Off-Grid Warrior, and today we are playing with chickens. Well, I'm not playing with chickens, not yet. No, take two. Let's not put that in the video. It's just that sounds a little weird. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go. Greetings and salutations, folks. It's the Off-Grid Warrior, and today I'm going to show you my chicken setup. I've had a few questions from folks regarding my chickens. Seems to be quite a bunch of people interested in the old coop down at the bottom there, and a lot of questions on how I dealt with the chickens through winter, what I did to make winter comfortable for them, and quite frankly, folks, I really didn't do much. They're chickens and they're pretty hardy, and for the most part they take care of themselves. Of course, you got to feed them a little bit of water, and they do just fine. I remember the days before I moved out here, and I used to spend a lot of time poring over information on backyard chickens and books. I have several books on the topic, and quite frankly, I haven't adhered or done anything I read in those books. The chickens have done just fine. I'm going to be feeding them right now. Had to go into town this morning and pick up another bag, and we'll talk about my chickens, and I'll show you my setup. It's really not anything fancy. I set this area up before winter as a temporary shelter for them. Keep the snow off them. It's not meant to be here forever, but it's done a great job. Besides keeping the snow off the tarp through winter, which I had to do several times, it's really done a good job. And those are really just 4 by 16 foot cattle panels or hog panels, and I bent them over to form a hoop house. I'd also use the T-stakes you can see on the side to keep them in place. I'll show you more about that. And it's just been temporary, but it's worked really well. So I want to put this bag down, and we'll get inside there and I'll show you a little bit more. Hi, chickens. Of course, the big thaw has started. I still have a lot of ice on the property. You can take a look. Not too bad here. Have some ice along there, and of course the pathways and up my driveway. Man, that's pretty slick there. I've fallen on my rear at least 5-6 times just in the last couple weeks. No matter how careful I am, I've managed to fall. So anyways, let's get in here and see what the setup is. So actually, before I head in there, just to give you an idea of how I built this, as you can see, it's these cattle panels bent over. I've driven these T-stakes in the ground, really basic. Alright, there's one over there, 2 and 3, and then I laid boards along those T-stakes on the inside of the T-stakes, and then bent the cattle panels into the inside of the boards. You also see I have some chicken wire I laid over the cattle panels. Obviously you can see the holes in these cattle panels will definitely allow little critters and chickens to get through, so I kind of had to make sure there's no way for them to get through the sides. Okay, what are you ladies moaning about, eh? Your food's here. Okay, a very simple door again. Let me remind you, this is temporary. Ice and poo. Isn't that nice? Okay, so what I did in here to create a little bit of barrier against wind and breeze, getting in here, I put up these hay bales, straw bales. These little ladies are loud today. Hey, meow. You hungry or something? So the hay bales are there to stop some of the wind in here. It's done a good job. I had some extras, and over winter I've been dumping the straw on the ground So there you go. Let's get deeper into the world of chicken. Okay, so here you can see how I'm feeding them. These feeders have worked best for me. I don't know what they're called specifically, but you can see what they look like. They're fairly common feeders. You'll find them in most pet shops or farm stores. I have another one hidden over here. Water has been a constant issue in winter. You can see this water over here is not what I used during winter. I've just brought it out here in the last few days. This will freeze in winter. There's just no ways you can keep a water like this in use during winter, not out here, because everything just freezes in there and then it doesn't flow, obviously. So what I've been doing during winter is every morning before I leave for work, I'll bring in some water, just in some Tupperware like this. I'll bring a couple of these, fill them up with water, warmish water. I'll come here in the morning and I'll lay these out, and that's all the water these chickens have had. I have 8 chickens. They'll drink that, and typically I'll get home, then they'll be empty. So that's how I've got around the freezing issue here. You know, a little bit of manual labor and routine in the morning with getting water out to them. But hasn't really been an issue. It's fun doing things like that. Again, yes, I am off the grid. So there's no options of running any kind of warmers, electrical warmers or anything like that out here. Yes, I know a lot of folks have told me about solar, and solar is not really an option for me here during winter because I'm on a north-facing hillside, and my direct sunlight here in winter is little to none. So I've had to manually bring out water here. So you can see my little nest box over here, nothing fancy. I knocked this up again just before winter with some wood that I had laying around. And what do we have in there? You guys probably can't see that. There's a few eggs in there today. Focus. Not focusing today, folks. There we go. It is a little cold outside today. So this is a shared nest box, and man, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a 6th egg in there right now. Let's get these. See what we have. We'll talk about breeds, what breeds I have. Okay, so today's eggs. There we go. You can see there's quite a mixture there. We have some brown ones and these slight, well, white, but they're actually kind of Easter eggish. There's a slight blue tint to them. So what type of chickens do I have here? Well, I have the Buff Orpingtons, the Hungry Finger Eater over here. Yeah, have some finger. Have some finger. Yum. Buff Orpington over there. Over here I have an Araucana. I suspect this Araucana is actually a mixture. It's an Araucana and I believe a little bit of Orpington in there. Ow! You're really hungry. Thirsty maybe? Yeah. Orpington, Araucana / Buffy in there, I believe. That's how we got him. There's another Araucana over there. Another Orpington, and then these guys, probably familiar with these, a little more common around the country, and those are the Rhode Island Reds. One of the things you want to think about chickens in winter climates, obviously there are some breeds that are better than others, are their combs above the combs on the heads, right? You see, these aren't really the largest combs one can get, but there are chickens with massive combs. These are, I would say, probably a medium comb on the Orpingtons. You can see this Araucana virtually has almost no comb, and if we look at the Rhode Island Red there, yeah, you can see they have combs. So why am I talking about combs? Well, One of the common things in winter with chickens, if you're dealing with a lot of sub-zero climates, is frostbite on those combs. So if they have a lot of wattle or comb, those areas can get frostbitten, and that's an issue during winter. I haven't seen any of that with these chickens, so just something to keep in mind with. Try and go for a breed with smaller combs, less likely to get frostbite. There are some breeds, I know there's some Icelandic breeds which are perfect for cold climates. I might look into those, but these guys have done just fine so far. I didn't see any frostbite. So yeah, one of the things to think about is breed, and you can see these eggs. I can tell you straight away, these eggs over here are from the Araucanas, and typically these lighter ones are from the Orpingtons, and the more darker ones tend to come from the these gals over here. Yeah, I suspect they're thirsty because there's no water in here, and for some reason, even though this water is fluid in here, it doesn't seem to be. There we go. Some issue there, maybe a little bit of ice in the outlet there, but no, there's water in there now. So yeah, real basic, folks. There's nothing fancy about this coop at all. You know, like I said, I did a lot of reading, a lot of obsessing in the early days about how am I going to keep chickens warm in winter, and quite frankly, it has not been an issue. These chickens have looked after themselves, and they've done a fine job through winter. They've been confined to this coop the entire winter. I haven't let them out. I do like to free range. Well, they're pecking at their eggs. I better pick them up. I do like to free range the chickens, and when I'm here during the day on weekends, I'll definitely start letting them out now that the weather's getting better. We do have to deal with predators around here. I actually had 16 chickens, and I now have 18. So yes, we did have some predator issues. I came home one afternoon to find a bunch of feathers and a bunch of missing birds, and that's when I was heading out to work and leaving them outside the coop. They were free ranging around, and something got hold of them, and we don't want that happening. So for now, if I'm here over the weekends and here all day, I'll let them out now that weather's getting good. They love heading out. Obviously they peck around, they find a lot of food out there, and the kind of food that, or variety to their diet that you want your chickens eating. You want them out in the bushes, pecking away, finding little insects. Quality of the eggs gets better, and the birds are much happier that way. So free ranging, definitely something I like to do around here. These girls are super needy today. Hey? Okay, so this tarp, the only I would say pain in the butt that I had during winter was keeping snow off this setup. There were several times I had to come out here and scrape snow off the top because it started bending the fencing and started drooping the roof. So I could have probably put support in here and a pole that would have eased that issue, but I didn't. I chose just to continuously come down here and get snow off. So I think going into next year we'll probably have a different setup. Hopefully I'll have a different setup. I've got a lot of things to do. Hey, these girls seem to be wanting to nibble at me today. Hopefully I'll have a different setup here. I have plans to, but I also have a lot of other things to do. So yeah, there you go. I'm gonna get these eggs washed and into the cabin, and that's about it. Oh, I guess we can talk about food and what I've been feeding them. I feed them these lay pellets, and this is a Washington company, I believe, called Ellen Bass, and this is a simple layer pellet. And if you're curious about protein content and so on, I'm not quite sure, but I believe it's somewhere around 16% protein, which is obviously less than something like 24 or 22% chick feed. You know, typically the chicken or chicks, early chick feed will be high in protein, and or game bird feed will be high in protein. But you know, once you have these hens laying and they come up to weight, you know, something around 16-18% is more than enough. You know, I guess I could have also probably put, if I was a good chicken keeper, I could have put some other treats in here through winter, you know, maybe some mealworms and things like that. Or they haven't had much access to any kind of grit, which is important in their diet. I didn't substitute or put any grit in their meal, or didn't provide them with a bowl of extra grit. So possibly could have done that, but they seem to be doing just fine. And you know, maybe next time I'll be a little more organized with food and have a little more variety for them. But they don't seem to be complaining, and maybe it's just because I don't understand chicken. They seem to be pretty content. I do think now that the weather's changing, I can see they're a little more eager to greet me at the gate here, and they're probably wanting to get out. But I don't think I'm quite there yet with letting them out. So I'm nibbling on my back now. Hey, what you doing? Okay, so there you go. A little bit of chicken chat. Very basic setup, and there you go. Right on. Thanks for watching. Yo. Say bye, guys, gals. Say bye. I'm not sure if it means something when you start talking to your chickens. Hopefully it's not just me. If there's other chicken keepers out there that talk to their chickens, let me know that you talk to your chickens too, and that it's okay. It's normal, right? If you got any more questions, folks, feel free to leave comments, and I'll get to them. Yeah, the cabin's still a work in progress. I've got to actually seal up some holes. You see that ladder I've just put up there? There's some holes that allowed access into the roof. I had, unfortunately, a pack rat, I believe a pack rat because I never really saw it, gained access through one of these gaps into the roof during winter, and I used to lay in bed at night and hear this rattle and scratching and running up and down, and it was driving me nuts because all I could think of was the damage that was being done in the roof to the insulation. Because any of you folks have dealt with pack rats, you'll know that they're pretty destructive little critters. You definitely don't want them rummaging around in a roof, a new roof, any roof. So you know, I set out traps. I found where it was gaining access, and I could see little trails. It was hauling nesting material up there. And you know, I tried traps, live traps, and it wasn't working. And so eventually, you know, it's not the ideal situation thing to do, but I eventually baited it with some poison and left the poison bait right where it was gaining access. And it still took about 2 weeks. I could see it was nibbling at the bait, but eventually the sounds in my roof became silent. So sadly, I wonder if there's a rotting pack rat up there, or if it got out and died out in nature, and I'm hoping for the second option. But I may just, who knows, get an odor as things warm up here. I might have a decaying pack rat in my roof, and cross my fingers that's not the case. So I've got to seal up those holes, because knowing my luck, number 2 critter is going to get in there, and I'm going to have a nest in no time. So that's what I'm going to do today before the sun goes down here. So there you go, folks. Thanks for watching, and yeah, thanks for all the comments. I should probably thank everyone. The last video that I put out regarding you know, the roof and an apology, I got so many great comments from you folks. I can't thank you enough. Some of the comments coming from you guys and gals were just man, they really lifted me up. And I cannot thank you enough for the support that you guys gave me, and advice that you gave me. It really did make me feel better, and so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And that's all I'm going to say on those topics in that time frame. But thanks again. Okay, cheers, thanks for watching, take it easy.